Hello everyone, Blake here from Blue Dog Prospecting, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. We're just coming into the end of the coronavirus pandemic. Anyway, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you guys a little video on basically how high and low pressure and inertial works. Just a short one today. Anyway, so over here where the kids are just getting some exercise, we've got a big point comes out. This is a huge inside bend. Comes around like this and the water pushes back around here, and a big S bend under the bridge and back off that way. So in the middle of the S bend we've got this huge gravel deposit. Now what happens is water comes screaming around here and it chews out this outside bank and it hits this barrier and there's nowhere for it to go. So the water pushes around and squeezes down under the bridge, picking up pressure, which is what chews out under the bridge. Because there's a high pressure system sort of there. We'll get a little bit of gold just over the edge of this lip. Anyway, this is me Orara River, pretty common spot, a lot of people know it. So what happens, the water comes screaming around, and over there where Jamie's standing, the water is heading in that direction. Now, there where Shadow just went across, as you can see, it's pulling her in this direction. So the water's coming that way, hitting this pool, swirling around, and it's going this way. And the next little clip I'll show you is a log that's sitting in the water here when the water was lower, and the low pressure that builds up behind that. Now anyway, so we can see here the way the leaves are moving. They're nearly moving back towards that bank. So what actually happens is we've got a huge low pressure here that's dropping that sand off. Now personally, I know everyone says work the inside bank. Now, sometimes, most of the time, I personally got my pan there and going to come over here and dig, because in a higher time of flood water, the water will be wanting to push through and underneath this bridge. And you can see there's a lot heavier materials here, stones and things like that. There was a lot more sand and quartz in it, but since the last big flood at Christmas time, all of that has gone. Anyway, so there's no point doing pans over here on the inside bend, won't get anything. This here though is a secondary inside bend, because the river bends back around, starts about where my finger is, curves around here and back around behind where I'm standing. So this here within itself is an inside bend, but it's what you call a high pressure inside bend. Now high pressure, that being low pressure, this is the high pressure. So a lot of your light materials will not settle here. So where Shadow's heading there, that's about where the water starts to turn and start heading down. So that explains to you guys how the water works. It comes down here, swirls around, you can see the leaves in here moving around like this, and it pushes down here like that. Nearly, when it hits this bar, because of the shape of this bend, it actually nearly pushes back over towards the car, and the water picks up pressure. At that point, it picks up pressure. So what I'm saying by that is, as it gets a funnel effect and the water funnels in to a tighter space, the water picks up velocity and picks up speed around this corner, and that's what helps this all the light material filter off this bend. And as you can see, over the years it was probably a sandbar too, but they never stay the same. Anyway, let's go and see if we can get some specks of gold. Won't get much, but we might get some. Alright, one last thing, there is a sandbar coming out from that peak there right across to here, which I walked across, basically where my hand is there. So again, drop off zone, good drop off zone from that point to this point, because you are getting lighter materials mixed with heavier materials dropping off at this point. As the water picks up pressure and velocity, you're getting more of your heavier materials. This particular river only has really small fine fly puts of gold, so we're not expecting nuggets. Anyway, let's have a look. perfect example of a low pressure system here. Got the fast moving water coming over the log, slowing down and dropping off here, creating an eddy behind it, or a low pressure zone. You can see just over here there's actually a log, and that log is just sitting there flapping around, and that's a good example of how the low pressure will suck an object up into there. Anyway, that's a quick little lesson on low pressure systems and how they work. So yeah, once again, water comes over, drops off, and it's a lot deeper behind here, so the water pressure slows down, and it'll basically suck an object from about where my hand is all the way into there. So you can still see that log's just sitting there flapping around. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not actually attached to anything. It's just sitting there, just going like this in the low pressure. So that is how low pressures work. That is how gold will come over an object and drop down and suck back in. Anyway, that's it. Let's go, eh? Let's go. You gonna go? Let's go. Rightio, so we've dug up a pan, roughly half a pan of dirt in there. As you can see, I got the real small sieve today, and that's because, like I said, we won't get nuggets really in this river, so there's no point trying. We just hit this nice, I don't know if you can see it properly on the camera, it's a bit glary, nice grey looking clay. Okay, all this grey stuff. Camera's not doing it in colour too well, but anyway, so we've hit this clay layer, and this is just out of there, again in line where that post streak should be. So we'll do a test there, here, there, and moving back so forth, until we find a little bit of gold anyway. Alright, so I'll pan this out, sieve it, pan it, see what we get. Okay, so we have sieved that down. This is all our leftover rock. Down the Orara River, if you're around this area, it helps to have a good look, because there's a lot of quartz. See the old bits of smoky and gems and things like that. So this is the clay that we're talking about. Pop that in the pan, and that's my concentrates. So you can sieve it down pretty small down here. Good place to bring the kids, the dogs, and everyone for a bit of a swim. Anyway, let's see if we got any shiny yellow stuff, eh? A lot of black sand and stuff in this area too. You get the odd garnets. A lot of traffic. Just go nice and gentle with it, because it is very light material. There goes Shadow being feral. Just starting to see the black sands coming through now. There's not much, but you will hit good pockets of black sand in this little river. A bit of black sand there, not a lot. I don't think we got any gold that time, so I'll keep doing a few pans and see if we can find any colour. I'll just keep following that back now, so find a small bit of a pay anyway. Here we got a perfect example of layering. So up here we got sort of a brown iron stain looking area, a grey area here, which is where you get a lot of your black sands and stuff here in the Orara. Sorry about the camera, guys, just on my mobile phone. And down the bottom here again, back to this yellowy sandy looking stuff. So that's how this river deposits. It is flood deposits. So what it does is it'll deposit layers yay thick, take a few layers off in a few floods, dump a few layers on, vice versa. Anyway, I'm going to pan this out, so there we go. So we're just walking back along this gravel bar. I didn't see it too well, but little bits of gravel and that in here, but very, very sandy. Anyway, we'll go back over, I'll show you what we got that last pan. So the first one we did just beyond shadow there in the water. Second one we did just there where my finger is. And we've got a few nice little pieces, so I'll show you what we got. Righto, so this bit was from just there. And got a couple of nice little bits of garnet as well. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bits of gold. And a couple of nice little gems. So anyway, that is how, I'll sit that down there. That is how I read a river. So I always say things about inertia, and inertia plays a big part in gold dropout zones. So the inertia brings the water to this bank first and then changes direction. Big whirlpool going on in here, inside bend. Obviously low pressure, drops off the light material, but too light for what we want. There's good material through that, and that's what we got out of it. So I might do a few more pans along here, but I'm done filming. It's just a short video to show you how I sort of rode an area. Alright, I'm going to hang with the family. Enjoy, be safe in the bush, and stay corona free. Alright everyone, if you enjoyed what you see here, don't forget to give us that big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button too. That would help me out a lot. Finally hit 1,000 subscribers, pretty stoked about that. Anyway, I'm out of here. Peace.